We'd come to San Fran on a mission, and that was to organise a road trip. You know the idea. You get a car, some maps and a travel guide and you head west. Or east. West would take us into the Pacific Ocean. We were headed for the Rocky Mountains, or at least a very special part of them, because we've been told if it's beautiful trout streams you're after, you've got to visit Wyoming.
Our trip would take us across 4 states, California, over the mountains into Nevada, then on to Idaho, and ultimately into Wyoming. Well, that was the plan. After a solid day's travel, we reached the foothills of the Rockies and transferred to the back roads. The land was lush again, spectacular, and best of all, full of bugs. It's a very good sign for the fly fishermen.
Feel like a coroner called to the scene of an accident, and it's a multiple fatality too. It's bugs. They're all over our car, and that's great news for us because we're not that far short of Wyoming, and with insects like this in the air, the trout are going to be feeding. It's summer after all. It's warming up a bit. All we're going to have to do is find a fly to match these bugs. Well, not these exact bugs. They're dead. They've been hit by a jeep at 80 miles per hour, but this sort of insect that's floating around. Got a guidebook. It could be Ephemeralalia enphoroptis.
Come on, Tom. I'm keen to get fishing. Didn't seem silly at the time.
Some words have a beautiful ring to them. Wyoming is one of those words. And from the moment we entered Wyoming, we got the sense that the place was going to live up to its name. Beautiful rivers in every valley, and everywhere you're surrounded by majestic peaks, still sprinkled with snowdrifts. And it's all softened by forests and a soft summer haze. The late evening air was cool and full of insects. We couldn't wait till morning.
We didn't mean to stop in Jackson, Wyoming. We were actually headed for Pinedale. It's just that when we woke up in the morning, it was too beautiful to leave. These valleys around the Tetons are special for some pretty obvious reasons, but we wanted to explore the meadows for a more obscure one. You see, for fly fishermen, they have probably the most sought-after type of water in the world. Spring creeks. They're a curious type of stream, fed not by runoff but by underground springs, often arising within 100 metres and rarely very long. They are crystal clear, stunning little waters. And best of all, trout love them. And don't get me wrong, it's not a free-for-all. They're owned and jealously guarded. But there's something about coming all the way from Australia, and a promise you'll definitely go back, that leaves the odd gate slightly ajar. It's pretty easy to see the fish, which means it's pretty easy for them to see you. I was acting as a forward scout, a sapper. Yep, they're there.
I was acting as the fisherman, or the lucky one. Fishing on spring creeks can be frustrating, watching as a trout sips flies off the surface time and time again, but never takes yours, is agonising. But when you do cast the right fly out and it's taken, well, they count as little magic moments. This was our first view of a cutthroat trout, named for the bright red slash beneath its gills. It's a species native to Rocky Mountain streams, and so naturally, that's where we returned it.
We could have stayed there all day. Just quietly, I think we did. Yep, we did. But it got late and we still had a trip to make. Well, maybe there's time for a couple more casts. We did have to get our running shoes on. We'd arranged to meet someone at our cabin in the next valley, and he wasn't going to buy some story about a flat tyre. He probably invented that excuse. Pity about the scenery. If you've never fly fished, then you probably would never have heard of a bloke called Jack Dennis. We had, because he invented what we reckon is the best fly in the world, the Royal Humpy, among others, and he happens to live in Wyoming.
A lot of times I'll put a nymph on just to pull it down.
Oh, okay.
Now, sometimes you don't have to be specific with your fly, and sometimes you do. Quite often with these streams around the Rockies, you do. Certain insects hatch at certain times, and you've got to get it right.
They'll actually follow it when it flutters in.
Jack told us the stoneflies were hatching, and was more than happy to knock up a couple of local imitations. Fly tying is quite hypnotic to watch, even bad fly tying, which is what we practice. But when it's done by the best, well, I reckon it goes very close to being art.
The next day we hit the river, a beautiful little stream that tumbled down out of the Rockies. Jack had told us not to expect a stonefly hatch until around mid-morning, so we began fishing with another local fly, called a grey drake.
Not much was happening trout-wise, but it was still early days. Around 11 o'clock, a few storm clouds started to build on the horizon, which was a good sign. You see, insects like overcast conditions. Anyway, sure enough, the stoneflies started to hatch.
Time to pull out the fly box and compare notes. Dry flies are often tied not so they look exactly the same on the surface, but from below, so they throw the same sort of silhouette. Then it gets down to size and colour. The stoneflies proved to be spot on. They deceived the fish almost immediately.
The trout in these streams are quite varied: brown, brook, cutthroat and rainbow, but all their colorations were quite magnificent. From then on, it was on. The prospect of gobbling down a big stonefly proved too much temptation for even the smartest of these fish. I don't know what the human equivalent is, having half a dozen oysters float past your nose. In the quickly flowing runs, in the quiet water, wherever we put a big bushy stonefly, the fish said, "Thank you very much." Time to get cooking. We started by chopping a few Idaho potatoes, well, a heap of Idaho potatoes, along with a few other vegetables. It's important to keep your fluids up when you're cooking.
You think chopping vegetables is thirsty work? I've just been building a fire. Yeah, better get some fluids into me. Where's that bottle?
The next step was to fry some bacon. Then add all the chopped veggies, mushroom, onion, peppers, along with a little oil and some seasoning. We ended up taking 2 little brook trout from the river. These aren't native to Wyoming and, just between us, are considered the more stupid of trout species. But they taste great, especially with a little onion, fried bacon and some mayonnaise, one of the few local sauces not actually made by Paul Newman. Wrap it in foil. It actually has to be sealed pretty well. And then you just throw it onto the coals.
This ranch-style cooking was great. Everything tasted just perfect. But then, over a few wines, we got onto the serious business, whether we'd be prepared to go into bear country. That's because Jack had put something to us. He said if you've got the time to do a hike one day, a pretty decent one, and you're up near Yellowstone, there's a hard-to-get-to valley that may have the odd bear, but it also has a river you've got to see to believe. But then, there's always a river somewhere.
You asked, we listened.
Right, here's the plan.
Members get exclusive access to classic rare and never-before-seen video and audio from way back when we were starting out.
What did that guy at Consumer Affairs call it? A scam. It's a scam.
Friends of the show get early access to our regular YouTube content, as well as Have You Been Paying Attention content that's never been seen on TV or social media.
Good on you, Tom.
Love The Late Show?
Where every week is Piss Week.
We've got classic clips from the TV show for members of our Champagne Comedy tier.
Make sure you tell all your friends back in the big smoke.
Are you a die-hard D-Generation fan? Relive some of the earliest radio moments with exclusive access to the Radio Vault.
And remember, don't leave your radio on when you're not home.
Or if you simply want an easy one-stop shop to watch our TV shows,
This is going straight to the pool.
Pool Room members can enjoy full episodes of Utopia, All Aussie Adventures, Frontline, Funky Squad and heaps more. Why not join today and become part of the community that asks for nothing more than
Champagne sketch comedy.